You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Good morning and welcome to Nat Nair on Air. Jane Nat Nair, Greg Bach, Calvin Butenoff, all coming to you live from our studio here at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Lots of things going on today. It is also Free Ticket Friday.
I've never heard of this, Jane. Tell me more.
Here is how this works, Greg Bach. We're going to give you a little time if you have not downloaded the Civic Media app yet, because you need the app in order to enter Free Ticket Friday. So go to wherever you get your apps. Go to your app store. Look for Civic, C-I-V-I-C, Civic Media. Download the Civic Media app completely free. Once you open it up, you have your chance to pick your favorite station. Could be anybody, perhaps WAUK.
Come on now.
And then you can call and text and leave a voice note directly from the app.
That sounds absolutely wonderful.
It is completely, absolutely wonderful, completely free. And I'm going to give you the keyword in just a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
I'll get my phone ready.
You can't enter. But we're giving people time to download the app if they haven't done that yet. We'll give you the keyword in just a little bit that you want to text in, and that will put you in the running for a 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers club level tickets for the game a week from tonight as the Crew host New York.
Mets or Yankees?
New York. That was what was on the prep sheet, and that's what I put on there.
Let's take a look. Let's see who they're going to
Greg will find out.
I'll find out.
Specify that.
I'll specify. Let's see here. Next week, it's the Mets.
The Mets.
See, I want to go to that. I love the Mets. They have the same just milieu of the Brewers, working class.
Kind of scrappy, underdogs.
Underdogs. When we win, the fans go nuts. When we lose, we all lose together, and we understand that it's always about the next game. But yeah, that'll be a fun game.
Good game. Next Friday, Crew hosting the New York Mets. And you have a chance to pick up tickets. You will have 4 chances today coming up with us. And then Tom Hartman, 11 to 2. Todd Alba, 2 to 4. Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6 will each have a different keyword for you. Stick around. I'll have the keyword for you in just a little bit. Just make sure you download that Civic Media app so you are ready to go. We're going to cover a whole bunch of stuff today, including some various town halls that were held in Wisconsin. Also on Republican lawmakers would like it easier for people to not have to vaccinate their children. Jobs numbers came out this morning. They're not good.
Wow.
Really not good. The stock market is reacting to that. We're going to talk about the latest job numbers that came out this morning, starting a little bit later on this hour. In hour number 2, the president has made a big announcement about a building project in Washington, D.C. It's a big, beautiful ballroom, Greg. That's what Americans have been calling for.
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to make sure that our Medicaid is safe. I want to make sure that our vets are taken care of. And I want to make sure that a giant ballroom is erected at the White House, because who doesn't love the Gilded Age?
Exactly, right? So we'll talk about the big, beautiful ballroom. Also, the presidential fitness test is coming back. We'll talk about that in hour number 2. We're also going to debut a new segment coming up at 10:20.
Yes.
Called Audio Gripe.
Well, let me tell you something, boys.
Yes.
New segment called Audio Gripe. I have a gripe related to the birth of MTV. So we're going to debut that at 10:20 this morning. We can argue about it later.
Yeah.
All right? Audio Gripe coming up at 10:20. Then we'll switch into Audio Sorbet, where we lighten things up, get away from the news. After the 10:30 news, State Fair opened yesterday, the Great Wisconsin State Fair in West Dallas.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about your must-dos at the Wisconsin State Fair. We're also going to take a look at the Sporkies winners. I just like saying that word. It's a good word.
Yeah. And
Sporkies.
I've tasted some Sporkies food in the past, and it is very eclectic and
Some unusual
combinations. Unusual combinations.
Cyndi Lauper, they're so unusual. Yes. And we'll wrap up the show as we always do with this. Shouldn't be a thing. Today it's the Poach This edition. Stay tuned for that. As always, if you have a thing you think should not be, send it into Greg and me at janesays@civicmedia.us, JANESAYS. Jane says at civicmedia.us. Wanted to start off with this, though. Wisconsin Examiner Eric Gunn with the byline says, quote, complaints about Trump dominate noisy listening session with U.S. Rep. Brian Stile. Brian Stile, Wisconsin's own, slipped into Paul Ryan's seat, did actually hold an in-person town hall meeting last night, for which I give him a lot of credit.
That's where I want to start. I want to start with that. I want to say thank you, Congressman Stile, for, and in the story, it actually says that they have been told or guided not to have these live in-person events, to hold more like town hall phone calls and things like that.
Yeah, where they can screen people and control the conversation.
But he went there. He took his gigantic PowerPoint presentation.
He had many beautiful charts.
Many beautiful charts. And he met with the people.
Didn't necessarily go very well.
What?
At a raucous listening session in a high school auditorium Thursday evening, U.S. Representative Brian Stile defended the immigration and tariff policies of President Trump. Critics of the congressman appeared to account for the majority of the group. It was a big room, about two-thirds of the 600-seat Elkhorn High School auditorium, believed to be filled with critics, but there were also cheers and shouts and applause from his supporters. And again, I give Brian Stile a lot of credit for doing this. It's not easy. People are ticked.
Yes. Yeah. His response to those, his response to the concerns during question and answer time, the questions and answers time, it sound like they're kindergartners, was very dismissive, though. It was just he didn't delve into the meat and potatoes of the answers. He really didn't delve into, from what the article should say. I was not there. I put it out on social media. By the way, follow us on social media, Matt and Air on Air. We're on all the socials.
We are.
But if you were there last night, call us. We'd love to hear from you. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. We'd love to hear about your experience at last night's listening session with Congressman Stile. But it seems like there was a lot of, waving the hand away to problems. Like, we're just disagreeing. Or these are serious concerns. And you, sir, voted for massive cuts to all of our social safety net programs, and people want answers. People are scared.
Yes, they are.
And they should not be treated as, we just agree to disagree? No, because, sir, you're never going to probably have to worry about Social Security because you make good money. You're going to have good health care for life, and most likely are going to become richer and richer over time. These folks that are sitting in that auditorium are your constituents.
Who have been calling for him to do a town hall for months. Months and months and months.
Yes. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a town hall this past Tuesday at Gateway Technical College with Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski.
And Gwen Moore.
And it even said on the invitation, Brian Stile was invited. And he did not show up. He had his own event, and another point of credit I will give him. He didn't have a live event where people were also screened. That's happened before in the past. Paul Ryan, where it's curated.
Right.
So again, he had an in-person event. The public was invited, but I do feel like from both the articles in the Examiner as well as the JS Online is that he didn't really delve into the deep details regarding the concerns of people who brought their questions to the event.
Yeah, he they all, again, he sort of addressed it and then moved on very quickly. An audience member asked Stile how he could take a stand against other Republicans who lie to the American public and malign the dignity of the 70 million people on Medicaid by suggesting they're lazy. Yeah. We've heard that repeatedly from Trump administration officials. People on Medicaid are lazy and they're choosing not to work. Yes. And they're watching, if you believe them, 6.1 hours of television. How they know this, I don't know.
I mean, it's science, Jane.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Did How did he respond to that? Style lamented the tone of political discourse and vowed he wouldn't denigrate anyone. That is a non-answer.
You also voted for a bill that does all the denigration we need. You don't have to denigrate anybody. Your yes vote speaks volumes to how you feel about these individuals. And to play it nice and to say, I'm going to take the high road, all you were doing was escaping from the responsibility of answering to those who vote for you, who gave you that vote. You were not entitled to it. You earned it, and they gave it to you, and this is what you've done with it. They want answers. You have a responsibility to provide those answers.
Woman in the audience, we're talking about Brian Style, who held a in-person town hall. All credit to him for doing that in Elkhorn last night. And a person in the audience asked about ICE.
Yes.
And she's not asking about politics. She's asking about morality. Jean Henderson of Elkhorn told Brian Style, what I see happening to our immigrant population embarrasses me and terrifies me. She criticized ICE agents being masked. We don't get to know who they are because they're so proud of the work that they're doing. She said, people are doing the right thing by going to immigration. They're going to appointments that they have set up with immigration only to find out that interview has been canceled and they walk outside and they're getting arrested. As she said, this is a trap. Why is this happening and why aren't you stopping it? Brian Styles' reply, quote, what I view is the moral hazard created by the Biden administration, unquote. He's not talking about not giving people due process, just snatching people off the street, masked, unidentified men primarily, showing up at workplaces, smashing in people's windows. He has no response to that except to blame the Biden administration.
Yeah. The article in the Examiner, which you're referring to right now, has a lot of great examples. And there's one from a woman named Kelly Newens, I believe. She's a woman talking about her, like comparing the experiences to World War II. And Brian Style just kind of says, I don't see that as the case. That's
because she was talking about the internment of Japanese Americans.
Yes. Yeah. And he said, I don't see the exact parallel of this. Like people are being kidnapped and swiped and disappeared and
put into camps.
Yeah. By boot-clad people with masks. Like, I don't know. And how dare you tell somebody who has that connection to something that, like, I don't see the comparison. This is where, in my opinion, he failed. I think he thought he was going to walk into just, uproarious applause and support.
Do you?
Yeah, I think so. Because he didn't have answers ready to. I believe that. I think that in their brain, they think everyone believes that what they're doing is great.
Well, I think they're just so used to people accepting everything they say and giving them a round of applause is kind of, maybe that's what he was expecting. Didn't really go that way.
I think it's the acceptance of his answers when people show their concerns of like, I don't know. I don't see the comparisons.
Brian Stiles showed up. DVO did not. I'm shocked. We'll kick that around. Stay close. You are listening to Matt Nair on Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Go kick rocks.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
Good morning. Welcome to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, Dr. Slide on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us. Call or text at 855-752-4842. You can leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. It is Free Ticket Friday, my friends, so grab your phone. Open up the Civic Media app.
Oh, man.
And text in the word CREW, CREW. Text in the word CREW. You have until 11 o'clock to text in the word CREW, CREW, via the Civic Media app, and that will put you in the running for a 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers club-level tickets for next Friday's game when the Brewers host the Mets.
That's going to be a fun game.
Pretty nice.
That's going to be a fun game. By that point, I hope we're going to be at least 20 to 30 games into first place. I know that's not.
I think that seems somewhat statistically impossible.
I'm just going to take my dreams elsewhere,
Okay,
James.
fine.
Jane, whatever your name is.
Enter just like Sean in Madison and Jeff in Racine and Judy in East Troy and Adam in Oregon and Brett in Brown Deer. Makes me so happy to see all those entries coming in. Text in the word crew, C-R-E-W. Crew is the word. You can text that in until 11 o'clock. And then you will have another keyword coming up with Tom Hartman between 11 to 2. Todd Alba, 2 to 4. Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6. That's our free ticket Fridays. Text in the word crew, C-R-E-W, and good luck. We were talking before we took a break just for a little bit about the town hall that, to his credit, Brian Stile, Republican, held last night in Elkhorn. It was live, not pre-screened. Kind of impressive. He's like one of the only Republicans that has done this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will absolutely give him credit for doing that and for not screening his audience or the questions or anything like that. But yeah, it was not in my opinion, he definitely put out the information he wanted to get out there.
Of course. That's the whole point.
But as we stated earlier, people brought their real life concerns to this event. They brought their real life questions. They brought real frustrations with them, and Brian Stile did as far as the articles, because I was not there. If you were there, by the way, please call us and let us know. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. He didn't bring the I feel your pain attitude.
Well, that's kind of a tough. That can't really do that.
Well, I mean,
his life's pretty good.
But to show empathy, sympathy, and say, yeah, we know you're hurting. Here's what we're doing to make it better. No, it's
everything is great.
Everything is great. I don't see the problems. What's going on? It's a lot of disagreement. I'm not going to denigrate. I'm not. No, you're fine. You rolled up your sleeves. You got your thumbs up. Good job.
Well, at least he showed up.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to Derek Van Orden did not show up. This is from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Anna Kleber with the byline. Mark Pocan crosses congressional lines to host a town hall in Derek Van Orden's hometown. And, of course, DVO couldn't be bothered to show up. Mark Pocan asked, quote, just one more check. Is Derek here anywhere? I thought if I came to Prairie du Chien just down the road from where Derek lives that maybe he could make it on down. He could probably take a skateboard here if he wanted. Certainly a motorcycle or a car. You could have got him, but he's simply, once again, missing in action. Yeah, DVO doesn't like to really see his constituents unless he can yell at them.
Yeah, he's not a live event person. He doesn't do that. And based on their last reaction when they got next to each other, Mark Pocan and Derek Van Orden, it wouldn't have. I don't know if it would have been a whole different story in the paper had he shown up. But no, that's not what Derek Van Orden does. And I don't know why, but from what we have been told by folks who live up there, he does a very good job of providing clips and commercials
to the media outlets.
Yeah, of all the good things he does, all the wonderful things he does and I would love to know what that is, because as far as I know, the Farm Bill isn't signed. As far as I know, he voted for the budget 3 times, whether it was for the original, the blueprint, or for the final. I'd like to know what, in fact, he is doing for his district, Wisconsin, and I'll just throw America in there.
Well, and he's going to jump on that veterans bill that Donald Trump signed yesterday. Pat did a really good breakdown of it this morning on his show. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
This is essentially a redo of a program that existed under the Biden administration, and therefore they had to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And then essentially put a new name on it and credit Trump with it. That's kind of what it is.
You know what? If it's to help vets, fine, do it. If it gets them the help they need, if it keeps them from being homeless, if it keeps them from harming themselves, whatever it takes to protect our vets, I'm in. I don't care who signs the bill, but him taking credit, DVO taking credit, or trying to hog the spotlight, that seems a little rude.
That's his MO. Jeez. Yeah. One attendee asked what more Democrats will be doing to push back. Mark Pocan replied, have more town halls in Republican districts. I love this quote. Is this in your face? Is this a little douchey? Yes. It is.
I mean, that's peak Pocan.
Right? But you know what? Taking away your health care and education funding and adding $4 trillion to the national debt so that the richest get a very good tax cut is enough that we need to push back, unquote.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, again, credit to Brian Style for showing up. Good for you, taking the heat. Couldn't have been easy. And DVO, well, this is kind of what we expect.
He was probably driving around the Northwoods in his vroom vroom.
Gene, I see you on the line. If you can either wait through the news, we'll take you on the other side. You can also call back. You can also join us at 855-752-4842. Stay with us. You're listening to Matt and Air on Air, coming to you across the vast, statewide, countrywide. Pick us up around the world on the app, the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back. Good morning and welcome to Matt and Air on Air. Jane Matt and Air, Greg Bach, Dr. Slide on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us. Call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream. Hello, live streamers on Facebook, YouTube,
Hi.
and what used to be Twitter. We are in the midst of Free Ticket Friday.
Right now?
Right now as we speak. So grab your phone, open up the Civic Media app, and text in the word CREW, C-R-E-W. CREW is the word to text in right now via the Civic Media app. That will get you in the running for a 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers club-level tickets for next Friday's game when the Brewers host the New York Mets. So text in the word CREW right now, C-R-E-W, and you will be in the running for those tickets. Tom Hartman will have a new word for you from 11 to 2. Todd Alba, 2 to 4, and then Maggie Dawn wraps it up today. Different word from 4 to 6. But right now, you have until 11 o'clock to text in the word CREW, C-R-E-W, just like Susan just did, listening on WAUK. We have Jim in Germantown, and James in Oshkosh, and Jerry in Wauwatosa, Brian in Mosinee.
James and Jerry's and Jeans. Oh,
so
my.
So many. So good luck. Keep those entries coming in. The word to text in until 11 o'clock right now is CREW, C-R-E-W. Before we went to the news at the bottom of the hour, we were talking about Derek Van Orden, pretty much true to form, not showing up at a town hall. Granted, it was held by Mark Pocan, a Democrat, but Pocan essentially making the point of Derek doesn't show up for anything.
No, he doesn't also plan his own event. Like that's there. You can't go on his. Well, if I go on his website right now, will I find
where he's going to be next?
Yeah,
probably not. And Gene from Eau Claire has been waiting very, very patiently on the line. Good morning, Gene. Thank you for hanging on with us. What did you want to say?
Thank you again for covering this subject. Very important for our side of the state because I'll tell you about it real quick. I wrote it down, so I go fast.
Okay.
Anyway, I want to first of all thank Mark Pocan for representing some of us in the state of Wisconsin. We need him desperately, and I really appreciate his work. Okay, and this is my own personal biased opinion. He doesn't appear because he cannot control the setting, the staging, the messaging for the legacy media. He has to have control of the situation, and he has to tell the truth. Because if he doesn't, people who really know what's going on, paying attention, will call him out in public. And then he has to demonstrate his disdain for those who do not agree with him and who call him out for telling lies. So that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. And thanks, you guys. Keep up the great work and have a good weekend.
You
Bye.
too, Gene. Thank you so much, Gene. And to add on to that, the other, and this is purely speculation on my point, on my part, but I think Derek Van Orden can't control his temper.
No.
And I think that's another reason why he does not hold events that he cannot very tightly control. Because as Gene said, if anybody calls him out on something, he'll lose it.
Yes.
And he'll go off on them because that's what he does. That apparently makes him a manly man.
It's something we have played quite a few clips
number of times
of him talking to people, and he also gets very hot-tempered around women who
and people smaller than he is.
Yeah.
And
if you're the press, my goodness, run away. I'm looking at his website right now, his campaign schedule, just to see if, or a campaign website to see if there's anything about events or something that coming up, and I don't see anything. Also, under news, nothing. But yeah, he doesn't. He purports himself as a man of the people, but he's never of the people. And when he is,
the people can never get a hold of him.
Yeah, so he is a very bothersome figure for me personally. If you've ever listened to the show, you know how much his presence in Congress bothers me, because he was present at January 6th, and not as a congressman, not as a police officer or a military person. Like in the military, he was there as a spectator, and he did not storm the Capitol, but he was there. And that should speak volumes to who he is as a person.
Well, and I would just, if we had a female equivalent of Derek Van Orden and his outbursts and his screeching at people, can you imagine if a woman behaved like that? Oh, I'm sorry, that's Marjorie Taylor
I was going to say, what
am I saying?
What are you talking about right now? Like, who are you?
I stand corrected.
Yeah, I mean, but I would say, let's go with me on the comparison.
All right.
There is, in my opinion, no liberal, democratic, left version of either of those two. But what the right does is treat individuals like Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, my mistake, my apologies, Jasmine Crockett, with more outrage at her very valid questions, her very valid concerns, her points, her presentations. They treat her with a level of outrage and disrespect and disdain for being a person who's there to represent the people and hold people accountable. Meanwhile, Derek Van Orden is bullying reporters. He is yelling in sessions. Marjorie Taylor Greene is spouting conspiracy theories. And the moment you try to say, why are they allowed to do this? We are told what we really are as Americans. So, yeah, there can be comparisons, but there's always going to be a double standard.
You're right. Yeah,
always.
You're absolutely right. 855-752-4842 if you would like to join our conversation. I did want to share this text that just came in. Tammy in Eau Claire, listening on WCFW, says, speaking of DVO's patting himself on the back, he claims that not one penny will be cut from SNAP benefits. I'm on Eau Claire's county board. I have been informed our federally funded nutrition program will stop programming September 1st, eliminating 3 educator jobs and all the benefits that went with that program.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Tammy. Appreciate that.
He said it not an event, but it was a testimony from a doctor on matters of
about SNAP.
And we've played the clip. It's out there in the world. You can actually just and Up North News, which is Pat Kreitlow,
right?
They have it clipped perfectly. If you search for it, I'll find it. I can put it in the show notes if it's there. And he speaks with great purpose that SNAP will not go down a nickel, and then calls the people who say this, Democrats, liars, and yells it. He voted for the budget blueprint. He voted for the budget, and then after the Senate passed it, it came back, and he voted for it again. And the weekend after that vote passed, there were stories coming out of DVO calling Governor Evers and saying, you have to do something to save our hospitals.
Right. Because the budget that I voted for is going to kill them.
Yeah. So we can talk about Brian's style and what I feel like were great missteps last night at his event. But the way that DVO, the way that Derek Van Orden treats that seat, that district, Wisconsin, is something of disrespect that I am not smart enough to put into pure words. It is so, I get so enraged when I think about him because I just see someone who has absolutely manipulated the people and is using it for his benefit. And he is a bully. He is, and this is me speaking for me. I'm not saying this is not for Jane, for Calvin, or anyone at this company. I think he is a traitor, and I think he is a liar. And I do not like the fact that he gets to just walk around and say whatever he wants to whomever he wants, and there's no consequence whatsoever.
Well, but I do want to point out, and Gene from Eau Claire, who just called in, has mentioned this many times, there's a limited number of media outlets in that area of Wisconsin.
Yes.
And I will say for DVO's people, for the people in his office, they do a very, very good job of feeding those media outlets stories that make him look good.
Yes.
Now, that's not necessarily journalism, one could say, but that's part of the problem. And that is part of the problem that civic media's existence is trying to address.
Absolutely.
Are these news deserts.
Yeah.
And at least give folks some option to hear news.
Mm-hmm. And Maggie had a great conversation on her show about the impact, because there have been studies on this of what happens to individuals and communities who live in news deserts. And when you're only given one source or two sources, or all you're watching is maybe, you know, you don't have a good local news, or you live in a part of Wisconsin that only gets Minnesota news, you are not up to speed. And I'm almost not even going to blame the news outlets to a point where it's like, if Derek Van Orton, who is the sitting congressman of the 3rd District, says, here's a story, here's a video package, they're probably going to be like, oh, yeah, we'll play this. It's good to hear from you. Thank you very much. But do the digging, folks. There should be due diligence
involved. If you're going to run this on his behalf, then shouldn't you look and see if those claims that he's making are actually true?
Yeah. I'm not a journalist at all. I'm a speaker into a microphone. That's all. That's what my job is. And I'm very thankful for that. But when I watch videos of him lying to people's faces directly in a way that is aggressive and disrespectful, a lot of the things he says, like with Donald Trump, like with many of the Republicans, and with Democrats too, Democrats as well, I'm not going to leave you out of that one, are one Google searches away from finding the truth.
Yes.
This is not something you have to read a book about. This is not something you have to read.
It's not book report.
It's not an expose that Woodward and Bernstein are writing. This is literally a Google search, and you can find out the truth. And that's the responsibility of us as the people.
Jim from Campbellsport just texting in. Thank you for that, Jim. Next Tuesday, the Campbellsport Lions have their steak feed, which is regularly attended by Glenn Grothman. May want to ask him some questions.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. Listening on WAUK, really appreciate that. Although I will say, I mean, Glenn's he'll take the heat too.
Yeah.
He does. I've seen him.
I've seen video of him at events, but it's that thing of not taking people's concerns seriously. It's that thing of, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Or as Brian Style did at the event last night, blaming it on Joe Biden.
Yeah. That I think that excuse is running. I think they're running out of fumes on that one.
I mean,
a little bit. I mean, there is always a segment that we'll blame Biden and Obama. And can we go back to Clinton? We'll blame Clinton too.
The Civil War, it's Joe Biden's fault. Yeah, it's frustrating because I want Wisconsin to have good representatives. And I'm not saying liberal or Democrat. I'm not saying left or leftist. I'm saying just good. On his website, Derek Van Orton says we need a statesman, not a politician. Well, Ben, be a statesman already.
Be a statesman. Learn how to control your temper.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think the man could use a little counseling. And I'm not saying this from judgment. I'm saying this because I think he has anger issues.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. So.
Yeah, it is. Job numbers came out this morning.
Yeah, they did.
Not good.
And revised job numbers, too.
Are even worse. But there's a whole bunch of openings if folks are looking for a job with a $50,000 signing bonus attached.
What?
We'll have all the details for you on this great gig coming up.
Ooh. The way you looked at me, I'm like, I didn't do it.
You're listening to Matt Nair on Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Stay with us.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Good morning. Welcome to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, Calvinator on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Free Ticket Fridays underway. Grab your phone, open up the Civic Media app. Not you, Greg, you can't play. Text in the word CREW, CREW. Text in the word CREW on the Civic Media app. That gets you in the running for a 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers club level tickets for next Friday's game at AmFam Field as the Crew hosts the New York Mets. Text in the word crew right now, CREW. Your next chance with a new keyword with Tom Hartman, 11 to 2. Then Todd Alba from 2 to 4. Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6. Free Ticket Friday, super easy. All you have to do is have the Civic Media app, and that is
absolutely free.
There you go.
And then you can also send us a voice note too if you'd like. We'd love to hear
like
from
those.
you. We love that.
That's fabulous. Coming up next hour, we have lots of things coming up. We're going to talk about the big, beautiful ballroom that I know every American I've spoken to really wants a new ballroom at the White House.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also going to debut a new segment called Audio Gripe.
Well, let me tell you something, boy.
We put the challenge out to producer Calvin on that one for a sound effect, and boy, did he deliver.
He really came through on that one. Yeah, join us for Audio Gripe coming up at 10:20. This has to do with the birth of MTV. It's my gripe.
It's your gripe.
I'll just admit, it's my gripe. Okay. Audio Gripe coming up at 10:20. After the 10:30 news, Audio Sorbet, where we lighten things up and take a breath and a cleansing from the news. State Fair got underway yesterday, so we're going to talk about must-do things at the State Fair.
Absolutely.
Talk about the Sporkies as well.
Ooh.
I just like saying that word, Sporkies.
I won first place at the Sporkies this year.
The jobs report came out this morning.
And let me guess, it was sparkling, tens of millions of everyone gets a job.
No.
In
fact, Calvin, I believe we have a clip from Fox News this morning. Maria Bartiromo is their big business reporter. These numbers kind of caught her by surprise.
If you're listening to us on headphones right now, you might also want to lower your volume a bit.
She's got quite a voice. Calvin, let's play this clip, please, from Fox this morning.
The NASDAQ down about 200 going.
Nope, there's the number.
73,000 jobs.
Yeah.
73,000 jobs created in the month of July. Number just coming out.
And that's total.
4.2% is the unemployment rate, right in line with expectations. Here are the numbers. For the month of July, jobs came in at 73,000. That was lower than the expectation, which called for 110,000 jobs. The unemployment rate right in step with expectations at 4.2%.
Yeah, that actually stopped her for a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that wasn't a cut in audio.
We didn't add that. No, that wasn't
an edit. That was live happening.
May dropped from 144,000 jobs, as were expected, to 19,000.
Yes.
And 1 month. May dropped from 144,000 to 19,000.
Yes.
June, they had expected 147,000. That dropped to 14.
Which means if we're at 73,000 for August, I'm very interested to see what the revised numbers will look like next month or when we get those in maybe 60 days. I feel like you mentioned this off air about the interest rates. I feel like this is going to just have to force the Fed's hand to do this. Like
they might have to.
They don't want to do this. They don't want to.
Well, he's concerned. Powell is concerned about inflation.
Yes, absolutely. And we don't have time. But there was another interview with a Trump representative who said that we need to lower those interest rates so businesses can borrow their money and get cracking. And and the jobs numbers might be low, but we're still putting American workers first. How?
The U.S. lost 26,000 manufacturing jobs in May and June. 26,000 manufacturing jobs were lost in May and June. 11,000 manufacturing jobs were lost in July.
Mm-hmm.
So when President Trump comes out and talks about the billions and billions of dollars in investment and everyone's coming back and they're building factories, I guess that is going to take a little time.
And one of the numbers too that was interesting to look at is that in federal government jobs, 84,000 jobs have been lost since January. 84,000.
Well, if you are looking for work,
where Jane? Where can I get a job?
ICE, which has more money now.
Yes,
because of the big blob of a bill.
Mm-hmm.
ICE is cash rich.
Yeah.
This is now the most well-funded law enforcement agency in the country.
Mm-hmm.
ICE is offering signing bonuses of up to $50,000 in student loan forgiveness.
I mean,
Donald Trump's
no,
goal.
honestly, I'm out of words.
President Trump's goal is to hire 10,000 new ICE agents so they can deport 1 million people a year.
Yeah.
ICE offering recruits signing bonuses up to $50,000 and student loan forgiveness, which I thought was a horrible thing because why should we pay off your loan when other people had to pay theirs? Why do they get to have their loans forgiven?
And it's not just, Jane, this is something that does not get talked about enough, and we don't have the time to dive deeper into this, but I will say this, not just signing bonuses. You get a signing bonus, but you can also get retention bonuses and other, benefits like that, other cash benefits. So
pretty lucrative.
And hey, you don't even have to show your face.
You can be masked.
Yep.
And keep your identity hidden and abuse people.
Yep.
We have news coming up next. Stay with us. You are listening to Matt Nair on Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. Text in the word CREW, CREW. It's Free Ticket Fridays. Don't go away.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.